Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all today? Good. Well, I'm Johnny Bryant. I'm a lot of things, but I also am the owner of ASL Electric. And like I said earlier, we provide high quality electrical contracting services in Orange County and surrounding areas. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, a little bit about our company. Hopefully I can inform you a little bit about what we do, inspire you a little bit to maybe call us or help us out, and then let you know that we and I are here to help you too. I'm not quite as the oldest person in the room, but I'm pretty old. Have a lot of reps, right? And as we get older, we transition into different phases of our life where maybe getting another victory or making another dollar is not the most important thing in life, and I'm thankful that that's the part of life I'm in right now. And the benefactors of that are me. I'm a lot less stressed than I used to be, and you as my friends and family and people that I'd love to help out. I think it was cool, Zach, that you mentioned this is kind of like a family. And so as I kind of go through a little bit of the business and a little bit about me today, you know, I'm touched this morning to think about this group and this family and you know, my position and being blessed. And I just want you all to know, no matter what I say in the presentation, that I'm so thankful for the help this group has given me as I've been kind of living my dream for the last 5 years. And I'm asking you to hold me accountable to help you out someday, somehow. If you're ever in a bind and need to be bailed out of jail, you give me a call.
That's a likelihood for me.
Yeah. You give me a call, buddy. I'll be there for you. So I'll tell you a little bit about our company today. Let's see. This worked while I was walking up here. So.
There you go.
Let's see. Wow, I know, but my clicker doesn't work. All right, I'm gonna have to have some help. So I'm gonna go through a little bit about living the dream today. I forgot to take this plumbing off. I am so sorry, Zach. Yeah, but I'll just go ahead and tell you, many years ago, I first started the business. I bought the business, and our customers kept saying, "Man, we wish you guys did plumbing. Man, we wish you guys did plumbing." And through a series of relationships, we started a plumbing division to help those customers out. It's a few select customers that we still help out. But as a part of honoring this group, as soon as Zach came in and established himself as legitimate and he's here for us and to serve the group, we've stopped marketing the plumbing side to BTN. And, I'm here to help Zach if he ever needs it. I think he knows that. But I apologize. I forgot to edit that part out. We'll go a little bit over referral requests and then we'll close it. So, all right, work that time.
Oh, nice.
So this is my family. This is, for me, what it's all about. It's my wife, Amy. She's a wonderful teacher. She teaches at a private school in Laguna Niguel. That's my son, Evan. He is awesome. He's kind. He's a great academic person. He minds well, and we hit the lottery when we got him as a son. He's awesome. That's a recent trip where we went to Anacortes and did some crabbing and fishing. All right, help me out. Sorry. This is, we chartered a couple of boats with my wife's family, and we just had a blast kind of cruising the islands. And so I put that on there to kind of share. Sometimes we go through this whole business thing, and we've recently started sharing surfing and the things. So I love boating. I hope that when the good Lord lets me retire, I'll be able to have a boat. I used to say early on in my career that the size of my 401k would dictate the size of my boat. Funny how that's actually what's occurring now. So I love boating. I love guns, shooting and stuff like marksmanship, stuff like that. I love camping, all kind of outdoor stuff. And I love business. I'm kind of a nerd. Some of you know that I started business in 4th grade. I was selling candy to other students. And by the time I was in high school, I played football. All the other jocks were walking around with locker bags and stuff with footballs and gear in it. I had Jolly Ranchers and Charms blow pops that I was buying wholesale for 3.5 cents each. I was selling for $0.25 each. Was making bank. In high school, I was making so much money I had to iron my dollar bills because they were taking up so much room. And that's the truth. And so that really is the seed of kind of my existence. I grew up very poor. I did that to basically live. I was homeless at 17. Some of you know that. But I've been very blessed and have prospered and learned a lot along the way. So, and that's kind of got me where to my dream today. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So I'm kind of a good old boy redneck nerd, if you were to put it all together. In high school, my GPA was 1.4. Took me 5 years. I failed 9th grade. But I stayed in high school even when I was homeless because I was selling candy, chasing girls, and doing what 18-year-old boys do. Went into the Army. I think there was some spiritual guidance there. I just kind of knew that I needed to do something to have some discipline in my life, and I had some patriotism in my heart, and so went in the Army. Got out of the Army College Fund, GI Bill, and basically went to college because that was the only way I could make money. And to get the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, you had to be in school full-time, make a B or better. And so my first quarter, I failed algebra. I'm like, oh Lord, what am I going to do? I'm not going to get my money if I fail algebra. So I started every day going to the math lab, every day. And by the time I got out of school, I was teaching the math lab. I graduated #1 in my class in engineering school, graduated #1 in my class in executive MBA at Pepperdine. And it's not because I'm smarter than other people, but I hustle and I care, and I have figured out a way to procrastinate the perfect amount of time before the test. My dream, let's see, go back please. Go back one more time. So this is where I was just going to talk about my dream. Sorry, this clicker's throwing me off a little bit. So got out of the Army, got a bunch of degrees, and got a really good job with a Fortune 500 company. At one point, my boss's boss was Warren Buffett. I've been to meetings with Warren Buffett, and I worked in the flooring industry for almost 20 years. And within Shaw Industries, I became a turnaround person. So when Shaw would buy companies or would merge with companies, they would send Johnny in. Or we'd have a poor performing division, they would send Johnny in. And the reputation that was basically in the flooring industry, not just my company, was Johnny knows how to put his arm around you while he's kicking you in the butt. And so when I got out of grad school, it was just coincidental that another flooring company said, hey, we're trying to sell our California division. We'd like for you to come help us. And they gave me a piece of the pie. I quit a beautiful trajectory career to kind of take on this new, it's kind of like I got called up to the big leagues. So I helped this private equity company and this other company sell Bentley Mills. You guys, some of you in construction may have heard of Bentley. They do a lot of commercial carpeting. And when we did that deal, there was a liquidity event. I was ready to buy my own business then. I was ready to kind of do my own thing. And another flooring company found out that I was no longer, they knew what happened, and they're like, hey, can you come help us? We just got a $10 million lawsuit from Irvine Company. We need some help. So I was like, okay. And my wife was pregnant. It was one of those jobs I could do in my sleep. It was exactly what I was trained to do, and I knew I could help them. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then when that was over, I was ready to buy a property management company, and another company found out that I was done with that deal. So I basically turned into what's called a parachute executive, right? So these companies would hire me to come in and fix something. I was kind of a fixer, and I loved it. It was my jam, and it was always like a 18-month to 25-month deal, right? And I would work my behind off for 18-hour days, 7 days a week. But by the time it was over, I was working 6-hour days and maybe playing golf on Friday, and that was just kind of the cycle that I got into, and I loved it. But I was getting older and older and older, and the last job I had worked for a fire protection company. I was helping them buy other companies and grow their business. His challenge to me was I want to grow my business to $100 million in 10 years. And so I was the vice president of strategy and acquisition, coolest title I ever had. But the guy that owned that company was a real piece of work. It was one of my favorite jobs ever, but this guy was married with twins. His secretary was his girlfriend. I couldn't get bonuses for my guys, and he was buying his girlfriend $5,000 shoes in Vegas. Just one of those. And so it just became really icky. The money was great. The job was great. I loved it. It was strategy and buying businesses. It was perfect what I love to do, but it was so icky. I just couldn't stand it. So I made a decision in 2018, so this is where the dream part comes in, that I'm finally going to cut the corporate cord, and I'm going to just do what I want to do. I'm going to buy my own business, right? And so that's what I did in 2018. And so maybe over a coffee break, if you want more details, I can give you more details. But essentially that led me to buying ASL Electric and becoming a member of BTN. Stefan, the guy I bought the company from, was a member of BTN. And so I literally am living my dream finally, like running my own small business. It was a ridiculously horrible financial decision to do that. I was making good money, doing exactly what I wanted to do, and could do it in my sleep. And I gave that up to kind of get calls at midnight, have people call in sick, or
Yes.
but I do love it, and I'm very thankful for it. I wouldn't change a thing. I make breakfast for my family almost every day, except Tuesdays. I have to get out a little early. I coach all my son's ball teams, and I'm very blessed to be in this position to not have to chase another dollar. And though, my first few jobs, I was a plumber helper. I set ceramic tile. I did a lot of that. I did framing. All kids in the South, you basically get construction. And then I got into kind of buying real estate along the way in the corporate world. That's how I fueled my kind of entrepreneurial fire. I would just buy real estate and rental properties. And so I've got a pretty good construction background. I always hired it out. And buy and hold was my deal. Did a lot of early on flipping things myself, but it wasn't flip to sell. It was flip to rent. And so I have a good understanding of construction, but I'm not an electrician, and some of you know that. And I've had to learn a lot in the last 6 years, and this organization has really helped me do that. And the trust that you guys have put in me, we're still not as good as we're gonna be, because we get better every day, but man, we're so much better than we were, and I'm thankful looking back that, it took me probably a year to get my first referral through BTN, but once they started, and it hasn't, we've had some rocky times, but we've learned so much, and are so thankful for the work that this organization has provided for us, mainly the GCs of, Paul and Pierre and Raphael, and then all the other referrals, and then working alongside you guys on the projects. We're so thankful for that. And we've changed our process a lot based on things that we've learned at BTN, and continue to do that. So, I guess to kind of wrap that part up, I just want to thank you all for helping me live my dream, and you are literally in the part of somebody living their dream. So some of the referrals that I would appreciate, these are some kind of relevant things going on right now. Apartment owners, a lot of apartments in Long Beach, for whatever reason, insurance companies aren't renewing them because of their panels are really old. And we have 3 clients right now. We're replacing these big multi-meter unit banks. Insurance companies says, we're not renewing you. We're writing these owners letters saying, hey, we're under contract. We're helping them out. And so we get them insurance. So we help them through that. So if you know somebody that owns an apartment building or an apartment community, that's coming. That's just an insurance deal. Smartest people in the world are insurance companies, because they use data to make decisions, and the data suggests that these electrical systems are really old and going to cause a fire, and that's what's happening. So if you know some apartment owners, we can really help them. And then ADUs, all of us are kind of going on this ADU wave. We have, I think, 14 ADUs in various stages of construction right now.
Wow.
And one of them is this one company we're doing a lot of work for. They're converting apartment garages into ADUs, and it's amazing what they can do. So you imagine you ride through Garden Grove or whatever, and you see these big apartment units that have the garages on the bottom, and then the internal. They're basically taking these garages and turning them into 1 and 2 bedroom condos or apartments, and so they basically monetize that real estate versus just letting people park cars there. It's pretty crazy.
Who is that, John?
Yeah, I think I've seen. In fact, I sent you a picture. It's MHC.
Oh, okay.
It was cool. I was on
MHC.
one of the
Okay,
first
yeah.
jobs. I'm looking at the plans, and I see Simon's name, and I sent him a picture.
Yeah,
That was
we did.
pretty-
Yeah. Mike
cool.
Collins.
Doing a lot of work for a couple of restoration companies. They really like the fact that we have a project division and a service division, right? So they can call me on Friday afternoon at 6 p.m. and say, we got a sprinkler leak in Huntington Beach. We need you to get somebody out there and take care of it. And then we can also come back in and put in, spider boxes and temporary power and all that. And we just love helping people, right? And so the restoration companies is kind of the urgency that kind of works well with the culture of our company. Homeowners associations, we're doing a lot of work for Lake Forest Homeowners Association right now, and again, I think it's just they love. Now I got a text yesterday with a picture. Hey, somebody, tree trimming truck backed into this pole. Can you come fix it? That was it. Like, no, we need a quote for this. We did, it's just, we need you to come fix it. So once you build those relationships of trust, it's really nice when you get the call. And then designers, we've lost Joanna out of this group. We really enjoyed working with Joanna. Excellent work, and so you love referrals to any designers you have. We love working with designers because our guys have worked in so many beautiful homes in Orange County. It's really cool when a designer gets into maybe a pickle electrically. Though we're not designers, we can say, well, hey, we worked with this on this project, and Dana Point with Paul McKelvey, and we had a similar situation with an open beam, and here's how they handled it. And designers love that, right? So we love working with designers too. How much time do I have left, Pierre? I think that's pretty much it. If there's any questions, I was going to go through, just kind of click through. So this is a couple of ADUs that we're working on, huh? Okay. There's one. Go one more. one more, please. This is one in orange we're doing. It was a single car garage in the back. Beautiful ADU. It was really cool. I think they just did that mainly for an investment. One more. I think I have a picture of the apartments. Greenbrier, that's a Raphael one. Carriage Lane, that's a Raphael one. This is one of the apartments that we're doing. So these garages down here, they're turning them into ADUs. It's really cool.
What are they doing for parking then?
Yeah, that's
Exactly. A lot of them are parking like right in here in these spots, and I'm sure that's part of the planning and approval process.
So
I think this is the one I sent you.
So the code says you don't have to replace it, which is
Oh, wow.
because
How convenient.
so one of the biggest problems that cities have is parking, but because of the state incentive, it's an incentive to not have to replace the parking in order to spur residential development, which is what the state needs. So that's one of the sacrifices that they
And,
make
and you can only do 25%
of those units.
of
right?
those units. So if there's 10 units, you can do 2.5 ADUs.
So there's a couple of them
Got
that
it.
we were working on right there.
Okay.
The garage, they are now full-blown monetized apartments. Go back for them, please. And so, on the ADU thing, I touch base on that. I think all of us have learned a lot on the ADUs as we've gone. And I'd say we're not quite experts yet, but man, in the last 2 years, we've learned so much. And to the point now where we can actually anticipate. I mean, Pierre mentioned the project this morning. I looked at the electrical plan that I did. It's so cool now when I get an ADU plan, I know things that aren't on the plan. I know things that the customer hasn't thought about. I know things that the GC hasn't thought about. And where it used to be a big friction point for us, if Paul gives me an ADU project, we just look at the plan, we're like, there are 12 of these, 14 of these, 10 of these, I need this many circuits and a panel, boom, here's the price. If Paul doesn't know it, homeowner doesn't know it, but we find it out while we're there, then you got this friction of a change order, and that's not good for anybody. And so now we're able to anticipate a lot of that stuff, and our ADU projects are so much smoother now than they used to be, because I think we all kind of learned along the way. And we like doing them because they're pretty quick. They're finite, they're beautiful because they're new. People are so happy about it when we do it. So we really enjoy the whole ADU process.
It's getting so competitive though.
It's crazy. I'm on a Facebook group, How to ADU, and there's 100,000 people on this thing. And
Wow.
and people, mom and pop get on and say, hey, we're thinking about an ADU. What price per square foot? And you just get a lot of crazy wackos on there. Oh, that's way too much, or you shouldn't. And yeah, we're going to have to battle through that because it's such a lucrative thing, and it's relatively easy to do in a lot of the communities where they have the larger yards. That's all I have. Thank you all very much. I will take some questions. I'm happy to do it.
So are you finding that with the ADUs that you're jumping from one, maybe city or county to another where, okay, you do ADUs here, now all of a sudden Huntington Beach isn't gonna let you do them anymore. So now you're going to Long Beach, or, do they let you do them in Newport Beach, out on the Balboa? Well, certain areas allow them, certain don't, right?
Well, I think we touched base on this a little bit last meeting. There are certain municipalities that are a lot more, I guess, restrictive than others, and for us it's been, obviously the coastal communities are a little more, hey, we don't want that for the most part, and then the communities that have the older communities that have the larger plots, the Santa Anas, the Garden Groves,
Lakewood. Long
yeah,
Beach, some
are
parts.
they have the room and the space, and many times people already have the structure, so it's not really a bigger footprint.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really litigious in some communities. I think we touched a little bit on that last week.
Interesting.
Yeah, some definitely are, just to touch on that, some that definitely are more amenable to ADUs than others.
For me, I find it interesting when I'm riding my bike around Huntington Beach, there's this one little area, and they've been able to put one in there, so there's barely any space.
Yeah, that's, I think one of the biggest challenges with ADUs is that we think of them as like a whole product, as if you bought a car or bought, I don't buy airplanes, but if you bought an airplane, whereas once you get into them, they're a lot more like a remodel or like an addition, meaning everyone is different. And I've worked with a lot of people who are trying to start businesses that do just ADUs, as if they're just a product that they can just sell like widgets, and it doesn't work that way. Even when they're brand new and detached and just gonna sit in the backyard, everyone is different. And the budget's different, the needs are different, the city's different, so it is a challenge that I would definitely echo what you're saying, that we're still learning a lot. And then every year they change the rules a little bit.
Yeah, I got a call yesterday, the one that we're doing with Raphael at Carriage Lane, which has been a really long one. They are requiring both the electrical and solar contractor to be on site at the time of inspection. They've never asked that before. So we got solar inspection. They passed solar inspection and said, but your only finding is because you haven't connected the electrical yet, and we couldn't connect the electrical. So within, everything was good on solar except for this. So we did this on the electrical side, so that was taken care of, but they still won't approve solar. So they're like, we won't. So again, you know, Raphael called yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'll let you know a couple of dates and we'll be out there and take care of it. So yeah, it is ever changing, and almost every time we do one, we learn something new, and that's why the reps have really helped us get in a bit of a groove. I'm frankly, we haven't worked on one with Pierre in a while, and I'm excited to work on this one coming up with him, because I think he's going to have a much better experience than maybe he had on Eagle Avenue. I think was the last one we worked on, which was a couple of years ago. So.
Well, and then multifamily is a whole different animal.
So that's good.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you guys are working on that is terrific, because the parent company, the one before Mike Holland got involved, the developer, if you will, they are just like you said, they are hunting for these projects. That's their business, is to create ADUs and these types of projects.
Yeah, they find high net worth individuals or people that already own the properties, and they come sit down and say, hey, we can take 10-year garages and monetize it for you. Here's your investment, and it's a super good model.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Interesting. I have.
Yes, sir.
So, the electric vehicle thing is booming, right? It's growing. I get asked to quotes to install electric vehicle chargers. Do you do that?
Yeah, so the question was, do we do electrical vehicle chargers? That's booming. Absolutely. We're probably doing one a day on average now. Sometimes we're doing multiples. And I'd say, you know, we're doing a panel upgrade this week for a guy in Huntington Beach. In fact, we're labeling it today. I've got to go by there today. But someone installed an EV charger and used the wrong breaker, used the wrong wire size, and it almost caused a fire. So his bus bar was all burned up, the breaker. You guys might have even seen it on our Instagram. We have one too. So, you know, as a handyman, we have handymen that help. Just be careful, and if you need some help, you give us a call. Well, I'll print you out a kind of a
gauge and
you just gotta be careful.
Just plug in your electric vehicle into your regular garage.
You
can.
can.
110, like 110.
Yeah, so most of them, you can, like if you bought one today, you could go home today and you could plug it into your 110, right? But the flow of electricity into your battery would be very slow, basically overnight. So most people are wanting a faster charger, like you can plug it in like a dryer. A lot more power flows through there. And so we go in, we put a bigger breaker, run bigger wire size, and then that way you pull in the garage, you plug it in, and it's maybe charging 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on the size that you get.
Faster. People love it, and then you just upgrade it.
But we're doing a lot of those, and there's a lot of, you know, commercial companies that hit us up, but that one's very competitive too. And you know, I wonder if the electrical grid is going to be able to handle all this electrical vehicle stuff. So
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool. Any other questions?
I just wanted to say something about Johnny. For me, so some of you might know, I became an apprentice as an electrician, went through the union, went through extensive training, 4 years of school, projects, went all the way up through the chains, running. My last project I ran was a $40 million project for Rosen and Electric, made tons of money on it. I learned so much about electrical. And then I went and opened up my own business, and it slapped me in the face. Was I could do this, but I didn't know how to run the business. And I thought I could manage people, but I couldn't, because I didn't want to be their daddy. And when I was working for other companies, I always had somebody to throw under the bus to get rid of them, but it was me now, right? So I got to hand it to Johnny for coming into a business that he knew nothing about and being successful. It's amazing, because electrical there's so many, every day is different. Every day you'll be learning till the day you sell your business. And I just got to hand it to you. It's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you for that. My wife is a little bit of a joke. You know, we'll be in the car and I'll take a call, and she knows I'm not an electrician, but she knows how hard I work, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, was there a dedicated circuit, or was it a sub panel? How far is this? What's the breaker size? And I just throw all this, and my wife's like, who are you? So that's been pretty cool. And I think you bring up a good point, Steve. You know, And maybe I can wrap it up with this, because this is where my heart was when I first came up here, and that is, I know business, I know people, and I know the Lord, and at the end of the day, it's what's right here that's going to make me a better partner to you guys. And what I'll say is, kind of wrapping all that up, if you guys really ever need any help with buying your business, selling your business, rental properties, educational stuff, like, man, tap into me. The good Lord has blessed me with a crazy map of life, and if there's some nuggets of wisdom, or even if I can put on a tool belt and help you build a barn, that's just kind of who I am, and I'm thankful to be that person. And I would challenge you to tap into it. If I can help you, Gail, it'd do me better than it would you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I just love to do. So thank you for the comments. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it.